Hi there. Welcome to the 2026 model year. It's pretty exciting, and I'm also super excited that the Crosstrek Onyx, which was last season's best-selling model and package, is available for us to do a walkthrough. So thanks to everybody who has watched any of the last season's videos. But if you're new here, my name is Allison Fenton. I work at Jim Pattison Subaru South here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and I go over all the new vehicles for the Canadian market. So if you are going to be picking up a new 2026 Crosstrek Onyx, I'm going to take the next half an hour. We're going to go over the outside, the inside of the vehicle, go over all the buttons and bells and whistles. This is so that you can feel more comfortable with your car before you're picking up, helping your decision-making process, or also as a reference after the fact. So let's not waste any further time. Let's get to know your new car. As always, there's no place to start like the front. So it is 95% going to be the same as the 24 and 25 Crosstrek, but let's go over everything that makes an Onyx an Onyx. So you've got your fog lights, LED fog lights, that it is going to be an easy way to spot an Onyx by the plasma yellow fog lights around. That pairs with some of the interior details, but that's your quick and easy way to know it's an Onyx. The 8.7 inches of ground clearance is standard across the Crosstrek, keeping in mind we're not getting Crosstrek Wilderness, so all Crosstreks for 26 are 8.7 inches of ground clearance. In the Manitoba market, you also will have a block heater installed. On this one, it's actually tucked right below your driver's or your license plate. So it's easy to find, zip tied there for convenience for those really cold 40 below days. You also are going to have this nice open grille styling and the standard LED steering responsive headlights. Let's go around the driver's side. True to form in the Onyx, you have the 18-inch aluminum alloy gloss black wheels. These are coming to you from factory with an all-season tire. You can always ask me about winter tire packages. We have some great pricing on those. Then moving over to your side mirror, you do have the integrated turn signal for the Onyx. You're also going to have the blind spot detection standard as well. For the touring package and above, you are going to have the proximity key. So this is the standard proximity key for Subaru. So the top button is lock. The Subaru logo itself is the unlock. So if you push that once, your driver's door will unlock. If you double click, it unlocks all doors. Your trunk release is below. For a Crosstrek, as it isn't equipped with a power tailgate, that would just unlock the trunk. Below is your panic button. So you can honk the horn, flash the lights if you forget where you park. Also, if the battery of the car ever goes dead, if you flip your key fob over, you can push in this little silver tab. See if I can do it. And you can pull out from the bottom a key. So that means you can pop that right into your door, open the hood, boost the car if you're ever needing to. With the proximity key, it also means that you can walk up to your car, grab the door handle, and unlock it. Also, if you're finished driving, close the door. There's two little contact points here. Swipe your finger across, you get that one beep. It means your car's locked and you're off and going. Back seats for the Crosstrek, of course, enjoy a really wide door opening. Ease of access is always a huge point for Crosstrek. As well, you are going to have the gray cloth seats with the kind of goldenrod plasma yellow bolstering, both front seat and back seat, as well as the plasma yellow stitching throughout. Features-wise in the Onyx, of course, you do have the USB-A and the USB-C charging point, and also between the two back seats there is a center armrest, fold down with two cup holders. If you're looking for ways to recognize an Onyx, it is going to be the only package that has a gloss black rear spoiler, as well as this transition piece between the back windshield and the trunk. Gloss black only for the Onyx. The other packages are body colored. But going back to the trunk, manual trunk release only in Crosstrek, and the release is directly under the logo. You'll feel a long rubbery button and then just manual. It is very nice and easy to lift and close, as it's effectively that hatchback style. Now, if we look at the cargo area space for Crosstrek, the vehicle coming from factory is going to have the carpet floor mats, which these ones are still wrapped up. Pricing wise, you'd be seeing a Manitoba package. So that will get the cargo area rubber tray that will protect your trunk. Also on the seat back, for the back seats, when you fold down, it's a rubber protector. Those are called seat back protectors. And also your higher walled rubber floor mats, both front seat and back seat. So those are the items for the Crosstrek Manitoba package. Oh, it's early today. I'm going to need some more coffee. Of course, just utilizing the handy cup holders in the trunk of the Crosstrek, right? That's better. I am told also they're very effective for potted plants when springtime comes. So, your manual trunk release for opening, and you do have the handle here. If this is too high of a reach, there is also a genuine Subaru accessory that is a plate that goes in here and a loop that extends down if you don't have the reach to be able to close the car comfortably. And around we go. Just kidding, I'm going to show you the trunk a little better. Onyx and higher, you will have this cargo cover standard. So it pops in with a little kind of latch hook. And of course you can remove it. It's like a tension bar. Pull that, you can pop it out. Here is your cargo area tray and your seat back protectors that I talked about. 60/40 folding back seat. You pull the pin here to flop it down. If you are going to be having somebody in your center seating position, your seatbelt is stored right here. Thread it through, and then it creates the shoulder belt there. You also do have tie downs here and here. And then you've got a couple of points that you can use as shopping bag hooks. There is a separate light as well. This doesn't have any off button on the interior of the vehicle, so if you turn it on, make sure you remember to turn it off. Fuel door, always useful to know how to gas your vehicle up, which, by the way, when you get a new one, you'll have a full tank of gas. But the time will come even with great fuel efficiency. On the passenger side is your fuel door, and when your car doors are unlocked, then you can just push, pop to open. It is regular gas is the requirement. You don't have to do premium in the Crosstrek. When your doors are locked, this fuel door is also locked. Right behind the windshield, you can see there are two cameras, and then there is one lower placement camera. So that is your eyesight technology. So that is your forward-facing cameras for pre-collision braking, adaptive cruise control. The mono camera there, center placement, is also going to be assisting with your high beam assist. And there is a few other little features that we'll be going through on the inside for safety features. Remaining standard from previous years, the Onyx and above is where you're going to be getting the power seats. Now don't forget, with the redesign, the seats got reconfigured. That's giving you better pelvic and lumbar support. And with the redesign, there also has been the addition of lumbar support. That's this little guy back here. Hang on. If you push the raised area to the front, that's going to increase the lumbar support. Push it to the back, it's going to make it more neutral. This little guy right here is your back angle adjustment. And here's the powerhouse of your power seats. This is going to be up, down, back, forward, and also it can raise the front or lower it to give you more thigh support. So 10-way power adjust driver seat for the Onyx Unlimited in the 26 model year. Keep in mind your passenger seat, no matter the package, is going to be a manual seat adjustment. Starting off with the interior, there's my other tripod. Here is your cloth door with the plasma yellow stitching, your mirror adjustments and windows. You do have the sport aluminum. That blue is a plastic covering that peels off, but it's an aluminum pedal with rubber stoppers. You've got your gauge cluster brightness, and when you need your hood release, that is just tucked back a little farther than you expect. Moving to your center steering console, this is your tilt and telescoping adjustment. Pull that down and then you can adjust. We're going to go through all the features and controls, but you can take a look at your gray cloth seating with that plasma yellow contrast color. Tons of visibility. Map lights, sunroof, back seats with your center armrest fold down. And for those who aren't sure, because I guess it's a thing to not have them anymore, if you want to go off-roading and scare your passengers, you do have the grab bars where there is, a less polite term is what I know them as. But tell me in the comments what term you know those handles by. When you have opened up for the tilt and telescoping wheel, then you can go up, down, in, out. There is quite a lot of functionality. And then you just pull this back up when you have it to get locked back in place. Looking at your steering wheel, the left side is all going to be your stereo controls and hands-free. So skipping back and forward for tracks. Source is going to be FM, AM, Sirius XM. This is going to walk you through the different menu options that'll show on the main display here above your digital speedometer. So that can be trip meter and distance till empty, the amount of fuel you've saved with the auto start stop, your time and date, radio station, bunch of choices. Then you've got answering a phone call, hanging up a phone call, muting the radio, using your voice controls, and your volume up and down. Here, horn works. And over to the right, this is all your adaptive cruise control. So to enable your cruise would be this top right button. When you get to the speed you're wanting to set the cruise, you can see here, it says set, so toggle down to set. Or if you had, say, tapped the brakes to take yourself out of cruise and you want to go back to it, push up to resume. And then this is your following distance. So when you turn on the cruise, you're going to get a little graphic of a car right up in there. And then there's going to be lines in front of it. I think of it as each line is roughly equivalent to a car length. So you can increase the distance you want to be from the car in front of you up to 4 or down to 1. And then that's going to be when is it going to override your speed and keep the safe following distance that you want to have. There is also lane centering. So this is going to be when you're using your cruise and you're on a road that it can read the center and the outside lane markings. Then you can have the vehicle more actively make steering adjustments to keep you in the lane. Granted, in Manitoba, it's a pretty short season, so we can have really good lane markings. But lane centering is something that you choose to turn on or not. Below it is our drive modes. So intelligent is your eco mode. That's your default. If you want to, you can go into sport. It's going to have it go through the gears in a little more peppy fashion. Default is going to be the intelligent. And when you have the fun of sport, of course, there will be an impact to your fuel efficiency. Tucked in below here, heated steering wheel, and we are getting into that season. It's a little crispy this morning. Looking in behind your wheel, on the right side, this is your windshield wipers. So pull down is intermittent, low, and high for your front wipers. Pull towards you for washers. And then this little twist dial at the back, at the end, that's going to be for your back wiper and washer. Now, keep in mind, the back window washer can also rinse off your backup camera. So those slushy, disgusting days, you can have a moment of pure joy seeing out your backup camera without having to go out and clean it. I know. Thank me in the springtime. Then if we look over to the left side of the steering column, this is all your lights. So you can see this is set at auto. So that means you're going to have your daytime running lights during the day. It's automatically going to turn on your headlights, automatically power everything down. You can go force into daytime running lights and headlights if you want to. And then there's another bar here on the inside. Turning that up to this position will turn on your fog lights when your headlights are on, and again, power everything down. Otherwise, this little guy is your turn signals and your high beams. Speaking of high beam assist. When you're in the auto headlight setting and you go into your high beams, you're going for like a highway drive. When a car is coming towards you, it'll then dim the headlights down and it'll reset them back up to high beams when that car passes. If for whatever reason you hate that, sometimes a lot of narrower roads, you're having it reading off of a car that isn't actually on your road, you can force yourself back into the headlights position, go into high beams, and that will just be an old school high beam and it'll override the high beam assist. Just a little tip for you. And now we've moved over to the big old infotainment screen. So at the top left, that is going to be your four-way flashers. When you pick the car up, that will absolutely be covered with a white sticker, but now you know what it is. Starting from the upper display, this can be your radio station. There's an arrow here to the right to go through common gauges that are kind of widgets, so you can set up whatever you're wanting to see there. When you move over again, this is the weather. This is going to be tied to your Sirius XM subscription. So when that free trial ends, then this will just be a blank screen. And then you also have X mode. So with the Onyx package, you have the dual stage X mode. Snow and dirt is going to be, say, your back lane. You've got a bunch of snow, big old Winnipeg snowstorm, and it's icy underneath. Snow and dirt is going to allow the wheels to move to whichever has traction, so independently a power can be moved to one wheel. This is going to work up to 40 kilometers an hour. Then it's going to move you back into the regular all-wheel drive system when you move above 40. Deep snow and mud is going to be maybe you are more off-road and you are sinking down into a more unstructured surface. Deep snow and mud is going to allow the wheels to spin so that you're not getting stuck. Again, works up to 40 kilometers an hour. And again, when you go faster than 40, it's going to kick you back into your regular all-wheel drive. These are the options up here. It's also going to have your time, outside temperature, welcome to Winnipeg, and whether you have volume, or it'll show if it's muted. Moving down into your main screen, this is your home button. So on your radio, you're going to have FM, AM, Sirius XM, volume dial, tuning dial. So if you're wanting to tune into a radio station, I think it's 104.3, you can press and hold until it beeps to set a radio station. You have 18 presets, so you've got lots of options. Going back into the home screen, media will be, if you have transition and you put a bunch of music onto a USB, that would fit down here, and you can definitely do that. Otherwise, Bluetooth or your Apple CarPlay. It is quite predictive, so if you put in a USB, it generally is going to kind of prompt you over to that. If you are wanting to connect a phone, because who doesn't want to connect their phone, you are going to say yes, and it's going to walk you through it. So in your settings of your phone, you're going to go into settings, you're going to click on Bluetooth, make sure it's enabled, and then it's going to be scanning. So top section of your Bluetooth is generally things you've already paired to. So you look below that, you're going to be looking for Crosstrek. Tap on Crosstrek. It's going to show a PIN number on the screen on your phone. Make sure it's the same, and then you're going to accept it. It'll ask you to allow for a couple of things. If you are Apple, it's going to allow for contacts, and then it's going to pop up here to connect, and for Apple CarPlay, and if you want your phone to be the favorite. That means if you've got multiple people in the car, it's going to connect to your phone above anybody else that is saved. For your apps, that's just going to show what is already built in. So Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Travel Link, and your My Subaru app, because of course we're going to be getting to all the safety features of the My Subaru app. Under your settings, this is going to be your main screen. You've got a whole bunch of options of what you can adjust. Looks very similar to a phone screen. And then you've got another bar along the top. Sound. Every sound in the car does have a volume. Everything currently is going to be set to medium, and you can increase or decrease the sounds to whatever works the best for you. Under your phone, you can, of course, change the device name, so how your car is registered. Are you someone that names your car? I certainly am. If we move over to radio, this isn't going to be anything too exciting. Under car, it's going to be showing your safety features. So if you are wanting to see what's on or off, and now we're getting to some of the new things for 2026. So the Eyesight Assist Monitor, this first launched in the Outback back in, I want to say 2020. But what it is, you are going to see up on your windshield, and I'll show you as I'll do a startup, there are some lights up at the very front of the windshield, and they can reflect up onto the windshield, and it can be showing that the eyesight has locked onto a vehicle. It can be that you're doing a lane departure, and it can be for the emergency braking. So it is just another way for you to translate any beeping or warnings that your car is having. Also, new for the 2026 model year, Touring Package and Up is having the driver focus. So that is the driver monitoring system. So as Crosstrek does not have memory seats, what this is going to be doing is you can scan to set yourself up so that when you get in, the car is going to recognize you, and then it will also be able to warn you if you are driving distracted, you're looking away from the road too much, or if you are falling asleep at the wheel. So how do you do that? In driver monitoring system, you would register user, you are going to say set, it wants you to look forward, and then it scans you. That is right up here. So this is an infrared camera. Keys and little tricks are going to be not doing it when it is really bright sunlight, because we do need some shadowing for the infrared camera to be able to register contours and things like that. And sometimes if you are wearing glasses, especially sunglasses or a hat, removing those is going to help. So you would be able to type in your name, you can X out, and I mean, that's kind of me, isn't it? For the sake of argument. And we're going to use a Papa Dog print. So there we go. Highly polite vehicles. So now this is just going to be the way for it to be all set up for you. Also, you can adjust your keyless entry system. So the default is going to be unlocking just the driver's door when you walk up with a proximity key. You can absolutely set that up to be unlocking all doors if you've got a busy life and a full family. And again, there's more items that you can configure here for your rear seat reminder, one-touch lane changers, all kinds of things there. If you go back to your home button, the button over here, this is your My Subaru. So currently this vehicle isn't subscribed, but on your vehicle, because of course part of the service picking up your new car is making sure that we have you all up and running for your My Subaru app. This would show you connect to the dealership for an appointment, connect to roadside assistance, or the concierge. So concierge is, say you have a question about where a gas station is, they can always answer it and you'd be talking to a person. That connection goes through the head unit of the vehicle, and it also pairs to the SOS button that is up there, which we'll go over as well. That is free for 3 years. The My Subaru app is then a subscription after the fact. So that is at $179.95 plus tax per year. And that continues the remote start, emergency services, and roadside assistance. Down to the car info, that's going to be where you can always update any maintenance reminders you have. And your driving statistics is going to be if you're on an incline or a decline and where the power's going. Display off is a great feature, so that means the music that you're listening to can keep on playing, but we can put the screen to sleep if you're going to find that it's a distraction. So what's fantastic about this is if you tap on the screen, your climate controls can come back up, and then the screen will go back to sleep. Again, music you're playing is going to keep on going. Then you have two ways of bringing the screen back up. You can press and hold the volume dial for like 3 seconds. I find that's the easiest way to not be taking your eyes off the road. Or when you tap on the screen, the home button is there, and that gets you all back up and going. Moving down below the screen, we've got your home button here. The auto start stop is grayed out right now because I am not killing anyone inside the dealership with carbon monoxide right now. So when your car is running, the A with the arrow around it will have a green light. Default is on. So if you decide you want to turn it off, you can just tap that. It'll override it for the length of that drive. Your default will be that it will be enabled at every start. To the left of that is auto vehicle hold. So that's like a hill brake. So if you think that you're at a stoplight on a hill, when you take your foot from the brake to the gas, the car could roll backwards. The AVH is going to hold you in place until you put your foot on the gas to release it. To the left of that is the car with a circle around it. This is another way that you can get to all your safety features under the headings of vehicle control, driving assistance, and more settings. So if you wanted to go drive to the States, you could go from kilometers into miles, miles per hour, and gallons. To the right of the home button is your manage devices. So when you're going to be adding in more cell phones, this is the button you use. And the profiles, I do find, is not utilized that much anymore because everybody's cell phone has quite a unique naming system. So you're not just dealing with 4 people that say iPhone 12. The next step is going to be your climate control. So underneath the volume dial, right here, we have your front defrost. Matching on the other side is your back defrost and your heated mirrors. Then you have temperature up and down on tactile buttons. It's a 0.5 degree in either direction for each button push. Your fan is nice and conveniently all the way at the bottom of the screen. So I found it's easy to kind of give yourself a home base and adjust your fan up or down without taking your eyes off the road. Air conditioning, fan all. So this is how you want your air conditioning or heating to be moving. Right now it's going to be pushing heating or cooling to the back zone. You see it says all. If I turn that off, it then says driver. So that will be keeping everything more situated just in the front zone. I was getting ahead of myself there. You see that? If you tap on this box, this is going to pop up. You can use sliders to adjust temperature. You can sync or unsync. And this is going to be where the air is blowing. So with this screen, if you go into it, you can set the adjustments you want and then ignore it. Because when you don't touch it for 10 seconds, it is going to minimize and go back to your main screen. Also, your full HVAC on and off. If we look down below the screen, that's the next step. Here we go. Below the screen here, you have USB-A, USB-C, an auxiliary plug, and this is your wireless charging mat. So what is nice about this is you do have the ability to power on or off. If you're choosing to just use it as a little storage cubby, I would suggest powering it off. And then keep in mind as well that wireless charging is never going to be as fast as plugging in. Gear shift controls are here, and on the Onyx you do have the paddle shifters that are tucked in behind your steering wheel right here. That matches up with the M. So you can opt into manual mode, which means you're using the paddle shifters to gear up and down. Not a feature that I feel gets really utilized, but it's there for you. You also have the physical buttons for your heated seats, both driver's side and passenger side, your electronic parking brake, and then you've got a 12-volt adapter right here. If we look above, up into the space between the driver and passenger, here is your SOS. So if you do get in an accident, hit that button. You're going to connect to a person. Also, with your My Subaru subscription, if you get in an accident and it meets the criteria, someone is going to call through the stereo speakers of your car to make sure you're okay. This is the concierge button. So again, if you're needing directions, then you can connect to someone. And here is your sunroof controls. On the Crosstrek, you do have the ability to like tilt to get some air in or slide to open. And then this is your map light controls. So whether you want those map lights on or off when your doors open. All right, so now I'm going to do this as safely as possible to be able to show you in the startup process. This is the very front of the windshield for perspective, so that you can see the eyesight assist. There you go. What's happening? I completely forgot to tell you about one of the new features for the Crosstrek Onyx 2026. So sorry. I'm new. Nah, not really new. But we've also added in the emergency lane keep assist. So this has been in the 2025 Forester. That feature is when you are using your cruise control and you have the lane centering on. If you are not putting in steering inputs, in the previous generation, you would get a warning. And if you didn't do it again, after 2 times of getting the warning, it turns off the lane centering technology. Now they are layering it into potentially you have been incapacitated and that's why you're not steering. So the new feature is if you are not putting in steering inputs, it is going to give you those pop-up warnings and it will go into a cycle of 3 different times. It will pulse the brakes to try and kind of, if you had fallen asleep, it'll jerk you awake so that you can put steering inputs. If you start steering at any time, you go back into your regular drive modes. If you get through 1, 2, 3 brake pulses and you don't respond at all, it will allow using your lane centering technology and the rear cross traffic alert, all of it, to be able to pull you over in your lane, have your 4-way flashers put on, also connect to your emergency services, and also unlock your doors so that first responders can get to you. So emergency lane keep assist, that is a new feature in your Crosstrek Onyx. So sorry. Well, that's a whole lot of car, isn't it? I wanted to thank you for taking the time to go through the new 2026 Crosstrek Onyx. The one we have been looking at is the magnetite gray metallic. This is our current test drive unit, so I want you to feel free to come down, get a drive in the Crosstrek. Also, one of the things to note is that in a change for 2026, all of the packages, convenience, touring, Onyx, and limited, will all be having the same 2.5-liter engine, so that's the 182 horsepower, previously only offered in the Onyx and Limited. But congratulations on your new Crosstrek. Again, my name is Allison. I work here at Jim Pattison Subaru South in, today it's sunny and chilly, Winnipeg. I look forward to being your go-to Subaru gal. If you have any questions, comments, or want that test drive, I have my phone number right here. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks so much and welcome to the family.